They go nuts.
Yeah.
But this Pope Francis, this guy he's a piece of work.
Oh, yeah. Did you just see the pizza party?
I didn't look at it yet, but I can imagine
party.
that.
Pizza party with children.
Yeah,
And if you look it's on my blog. If you look at the picture, there's actually an old man with his arm around a child as they blow out the candles. That's I think today.com. So please enjoy that.
Well, there was also this My Goat or iGoat video that they had with like a computerized Obama a couple of years back. I don't know if you remember this thing.
I'm very freaked out by it, and I am deliberately avoiding it. It creeps me out.
It's because it's absolutely every single scene is full of just so many triggers.
It's so creepy.
I noticed there was one part of it where you look at, there's like a scene of Obama talking, and there's like a chalkboard behind him. And on the chalkboard, there's actually a house, like a little like chalk drawing of a house that has flames on it, like the house is on fire.
Mm-hmm.
I just wondered if that was a prediction for the times when, you know, they're taking DEW weapons and they're zapping out all these neighborhoods in California and shit. And all of a sudden, like, the only houses that are still standing are all these liberal houses. So,
right.
It's such, like, science fiction, like, what the fuck shit. Like, there's no laws or regulations on these fucking, what are they, there's DEW weapons, and then there's these scalar weapons, heart attack guns, these weapons that are lighting houses on fire. And then you look at it, and these houses, they all light up, like, everything lights on fire. Cars are exploding, tires are melting and shit, but what lasts? They can't burn the terracotta. Are we going to all have to walk around wearing terracotta armor? And it's wearing like plant pots and stuff like that, and I don't know. Yeah, the other thing is Mylar. That shit can't go through Mylar. Mylar's the one thing that it just has no chance of going through. If they don't go underground, they don't really have. They have trouble going through water. But these beams, they're for real.
Yes.
And then one of the ideas that I had, and someone was talking about the churches in Ireland and how the Pope went out there and how absolutely nobody really showed up to see him. And
wow.
They're talking about how these people in the churches, and how the Pope's out there, and they're doing all this stuff. They're molesting kids, and nobody, people are trying to do stuff, and just nobody cares. The authorities don't care. There's all this stuff going on. And the crazy thing is, when you think about it, if there was no struggle and no strife in the world, there wouldn't be a need for churches. And so why not have all these preachers in these churches creating all this chaos and strife and just these horrible things? Because it actually cultivates an environment for them to substantiate in a way, in a very sick way, but it's also a way that it seems to work on people for the most part, because people are it's just this Stockholm syndrome that has latched onto their brains.
Yes.
And they can't shake loose of it. These guys can they could get away with all this rape, and people are just still like, oh, but they're just, that's father, blah blah blah, right? And it's just this cult of personality that precedes it, and it's such brainwash. That's the precepts of MK Ultra, and that's probably what's been around for centuries and centuries that people talk about. That whole idea, like the cult of personality is brainwash.
Well, the same goes for government.
Yeah, it just seems to be the thing. It's like nobody talks about child molestation. It just seems to be the thing that just permeates every single facet of any black market or any kind of job out there. I'm trying to think of it. There's got to be a task force out there that does that just goes around and just looks at jobs that have high probabilities of being able to traffic kids, and they need to start looking into this stuff.
Yes.
These agencies, it's always like airplane companies, it's travel companies, rent-a-cars, holding storage facilities, things like that, building places that build, because construction places, they're always shipping mass quantities of stuff around, and they're always storing them places. It's always about the movement and storage of things, so they need to start integrating these things into some sort of investigation procedures.
Could be anything. But
because you know what? I've had people come up to me and mention things over and over and over and over, and it's almost like maybe there's like a transmitter inside me that each day it turns either like a different color or has, it says like a word or, like a food or, something like that. And, people come up to me and they're like, oh, hey, London broil. And I was like, oh, okay. That was random. But yeah, I just bought some London broil at the store.
Well, we obviously are, transmitters, all of us.
Sure.
There's no question that we come equipped with that technology.
Well, they still don't know what bones are really made of. They think it's some kind of crystal.
Look.
And what do you use? What do you use to transmit signals through a radio? You use a small crystal.
I really receive messages that I get jolts, my hairs stand up. There's a lot of radio stuff going on over here.
I bet.
Yeah. I was actually watching a video of Huma Abedin yesterday with footage with her and Wiener. And she was a very unhappy person. But she knew how to keep her mouth shut. So somehow she has an inhuman capacity to endure horrible people. And I could not be Huma Abedin. I could not stay around those people. So there's some sort of training that she went through very early on to have the capacity to be around horrible, horrible people. Like Anthony Weiner and Hillary Clinton.
Well, those people don't hang out, they linger. There's a difference. What
are you telling me?
Well, it's just like you can't really hang out with those people. It's just kind of like lingering, It's just not like, it's just like kind of waiting for something else to go on. Yeah. I mean, that's what I felt like at that party, because when I was leaving there, it was just kind of a relief. It was like, man, we just got out of there. Like, that was just, it wasn't weird. It wasn't the strangest party or like the weirdest party I ever went to. It's just kind of like, it's awkward.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know all about that. I know about rich, awkward people. Painful. It's painful for me.
I don't know. I just it wasn't really like hanging out at a party. It was just lingering.
Right. Fair enough.
And that's their nature. I don't think that they're capable of hanging out. I don't think they're capable of camaraderie. I think they just linger around and then they just do some shit and then that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, and if somebody can do that kind of lingering and show that they can be trusted, they will be rewarded with some sort of prestigious and lucrative job.
Yeah, right.
Right. There's a reward system on both sides. Our side has a reward system too.
And then Stormy and Avenatti are going to be in Vogue pretty soon.
Okay.
If they're not already. I think they're going to be in the next one. So Vogue magazine, and what's that? That's a big trainee one as well. So.
Right.
Where they just do like the throw just all kinds of crazy shit on their covers.
I guess so.
Yeah. They did a magazine shoot. I think it was Annie Leibovitz who did the photographs for that one. Right.
I'm not.
Well, I don't know. The photography world is a very. I've never gotten along with a lot of other photographers, especially when I was doing photography. I never got along with anybody. I was just kind of a lone wolf when it came to that stuff. But other photographers, they tend to listen to really bad music. I don't know, even go to any YouTube video where they're like, hey, check out this new product, or any YouTube video where they're trying to show you how to edit something in some special way or do some kind of technique. And they always preface it with, they always do these header music. It's always some kind of cheesy techno music that's just really boppy. It's just like they kind of found some CD in their little sister's closet or something like that and just use that. They listen to really bad music, though. But the photography world is strange.
Do you know that I'm a photographer, too?
I do. You did work with Getty.
Yeah.
Do you still work with them?
I am still represented by them.
Oh, wow.
I'm not, my celebrity photography is represented by them.
Okay.
Right. You want to know how that job ended? Well, they don't send me out on gigs anymore. They used to send me out on gigs. Does that all make sense? Does that all make sense? Okay, so
but that's how it is. That's how it was with the movies and stuff like that. I mean, like if you were down with crap, then you'd get more jobs. People would be like, "Hey, we need this guy on the set." But if any little thing happened, it was just like, "No, can't work with that dude. He never works again."
That's exactly what happened. Do you want to hear about it? Do you want to hear about it?
Sure.
Okay. So, I worked with publicists who would scream at me, manipulate me. Complete psychotics, and these were famous publicists, okay, and one after the other. There's just a number of them who were well known, and I felt that they were abusive, okay. Anyway, so it got to the point where I would say, well, I don't want to work with this guy anymore, and obviously that was the beginning of the end, and the environment was so toxic, okay. Look, either I had to quit or I had to bring my tiny little dog, okay. So I would bring my tiny little dog. Obviously, I was begging to get kicked out. But having this little dog would make people nicer to me. And, sometimes a celebrity would, want to play with the dog so I could get some good shots. So I just was like, look, if you guys want to fire me for having my 5-pound dog in my bag, by all means do so. I can't do this job. It's way too toxic. Anyway, so this went on. And I was at a gig with Kim Kardashian with the owner, the founder of Wire Image, okay, which had been by then consumed by Getty. Okay, so it was me, my little dog, and the guy who founded Wire Image. Okay, and we were all at this Kim Kardashian event. So creepy. Anyway, so Kim Kardashian was like, "Oh, a puppy, so cute." So she was like holding my dog. I was getting all these shots. I actually did make money on that whole event. Anyway, so these pictures were on Getty Images of Kim Kardashian and my tiny little dog. And, fine. So this went on and on and on. And I usually did have my dog with me. And it's just like, whatever, there are no rules in this environment, as you know. So if it's okay with them to have my little dog around, then it's okay. If it's not, it's not. You know what I'm saying? So I went to this gig in the P. Diddy was the celebrity. It was grotesque, okay? And I let my dog pee outside somewhere else. And the publicists were so outraged, so shocked. I mean, it was like such a comical level of horror that they were having at my, my impertinence was so astonishing to them. I really...
That's the whole key to their job, is the ability to underreact and overreact to different situations.
Okay, well, it was this amazing overreaction. So I, noted, I put the dog back in my bag, okay? I continued to shoot the event as well as I have ever shot an event in my life. The pictures were excellent. The event was a nightmare. And then, a couple days later, those publicists said to Getty Images that they did not want to pay me. Okay? So, basically I had to give the money back, but the pictures were still, at their disposal. They still got the job, but I got totally ripped off. I
bet that's another technique that they do to get rid of you.
That's fine. So fine.
They work together.
And they
say, hey.
I got ripped off. I totally got ripped off on that job. Those publicists supposedly, said that they didn't have to pay me. And then I said something to my, my booker guy who sent me out. And I was like, hey, what's up? And he's like, how dare you, you creature, but look, I extended my time there because of the dog. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. But for the dog, I would not have been, those last 6 months were just because of the dog. Do you know what I'm saying? But they acted like I was this, like, demon, you know? But the thing is, like, that picture of Kim Kardashian was up months ago. And it did awesome. And I didn't hear any complaints then. And the guy who founded Wire was there that night. Okay, so there are no rules with these people. Okay? See what I'm saying? Like, the guy who founded Wire just say, you know what? You're a good photographer. I like you. But, you know, the dog, inappropriate. Please don't bring your dog again. Of course they know not to bring my dog to a gig, okay? I never brought a dog to a wedding that I shot. I know this. I'm not an idiot. See what I'm saying? But it was just like, I was trying to hang on. That's the story.
Maybe P. Diddy's triggered by toy dogs.
Well, he was, you know, not my favorite person. That was the worst event ever. I mean, I'm not even going into it, okay? What that event was like. Obviously, that was a horrible event. You know what I'm saying?
They also probably have a tactic where they're just like, hey, you know, they talk to the publicist and it's like, hey, look, this photographer's a freebie if you can get her to quit or whatever, you know?
I was fine with it, you know? And I'm surprised I wasn't treated worse. And I mean that. I mean, I really am somebody who expects terrible behavior. And I was 100% in the wrong, unprofessional. I have no problem admitting that. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Right. But that freaking dog, like, kept me okay. Because these gigs were so disgustingly toxic.
Right.
Right. That's just the truth. But yeah, it was getting to the point where I was like, I really don't want to be abused by, like, that person. And, of course, that was it. You know? Look, they don't even need a pretext. It's one of those jobs where they just stop calling you. They don't even need to frame me or anything. I was making the money, and I didn't want to take the abusive, low-paying jobs. So, obviously, that was it. I mean, I know that. It wasn't the dog. There's this guy around here in the Hamptons who is, you know, he's a horrible person. And the way he treated me like, wow. You know, I've never been treated so horrible. And that's just who they are. You know what I'm saying? They were not abusing me. It wasn't personal. It's who they are. These people are creatures.
Right.
Right. Look, I knew I couldn't handle it. That's my point about Huma. Huma can. I can't. I can't hang out around these people. That's what's so interesting, because if they ever come to me with that, like, sellout offer I can't refuse, I can refuse it because I don't like these people. See my point?
Yeah.
There's no movie deal that's going to do anything to me. I don't want to be around these people. Because I've written screenplays. I wanted to make movies. You know, you and I are both, you know, filmmakers.
Right.
Right. But I don't want to be around these people. Like, that was a good experience for me. So I realized I don't want this. I don't want to be successful in Hollywood or New York. I want to be away from those people. I don't like them.
You know, I was all lined up to do a lot of great stuff, but I walked away from all that crap.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a disgusting world, and there was you hear a lot of crazy stuff,
mm-hmm.
and you start to see that there's a symptom to a whole other sickness going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I was abused as a photographer, generally by publicists. That's the job. You know, let me tell you this other thing, okay? If you don't mind.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Well.
So, where I live in the Hamptons, the be-all of an artist is to be represented by a gallery in East Hampton. Do you know what East Hampton is?
Yeah.
Okay. East Hampton is the city, okay? It's the place here You are seriously, it's like you're in the city when you're in East Hampton. It's a little further east from me. Anyway, so I felt guided to do yoga at Lululemon in East Hampton, which is, I don't like being there. And I didn't like being there. Okay, but I felt I should. So one day I'm walking past the biggest gallery in East Hampton. Okay? The woman is there. I'm not sure she's a woman. And I walk in and she starts laughing at me. She starts taking pictures of me. She tells me that her granddaughter is a huge fan of mine. Okay, now remember, I make no money. You know what I'm saying? So her granddaughter is a huge fan of mine. I have no idea, you know, I'm on the internet, so I guess she's on Instagram. So she's taking these pictures for her granddaughter. And the other guy's from Israel. She's from Israel. And the rudest people, unbelievable, right? So she tells me, gives me this whole routine that, you know, like I'm going to have to work for it. And she says, come back, you know, bring me your crochet. I'm only really interested in your crochet. Whatever, you know, and I'm saying, oh, you don't want the art? She's like, no, just come bring me your crochet. So I come back 2 weeks later, okay? And I've got all my crochet. I worked so hard to present everything to her, very professional. And then she ignores me when I walk in, and I'm standing there for like a good 30 minutes. And I'm saying, and then I'm silent for 20, 30 minutes, okay? And then I say, should I leave? Very polite. And she starts yelling at me. You didn't make an appointment, and I didn't, all this stuff. And she had told me that I needed to get in touch with the Shankar Design School in Israel to learn 3D printing. Okay? And she, anyway, so her first move was to tell me I need to change everything about what I'm doing and get into 3D printing by way of Israel. Okay, fine. So she yells at me. And then finally, I stand there, you know, having that good old familiar getting abused feeling. And finally she comes over, very nice. Oh, okay, this is very nice work. Can you not do the rainbow? Can you do this with other things? So first thing she wants me to do, change to 3D printing, drop the rainbow. I'm like, okay. Can you do this with, you know, different color gradations, not just a rainbow? I was like, okay, sure. And then she says, this is wonderful. I have an idea. I've got a plan. I'm going to do a show this summer. All this, okay? I walk out of there with all my crochet. And, you know, I hear like spiritually in my head, like, do you want to work with her? And I said, no. And it was like, that's the point. Okay? So the point was, I could be represented by a freaking gallery in East Hampton. It's right there on the table for me. But the price is abuse. Yeah, so a couple weeks, a month or two later, she was like friending me on Facebook. That wasn't her plan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Her plan wasn't that I was going to walk away. They don't expect that.
They don't expect, I mean, I don't know. I guess walking away is a good one.
I'm just saying that these people make you offers and they let you know up front the price is abuse. That's the deal with the devil, abuse. She didn't put out a contract and say, sign your name in blood to Lucifer. She said, I'm going to abuse you.
Right.
Right.
Just let you know what you can expect.
Right. That's the contract. If I ever came back, I would say, I'm okay with you abusing me. That's what it means to me to achieve this bullshit goal that I don't even have. That I've been told.
And that's what makes them unapologetic about abusing you if you did come back.
Exactly.
You're asking for it.
But that idea that the be-all, end-all for an artist is a top gallery in East Hampton, that idea did not come out of my brain. See what I'm saying? That thought was implanted in my brain.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. Right. They tell you want a movie deal. And then, well, do you want to pay the price? But why would we even want a movie deal if we weren't told to want it?
Right.
Right. That's why you and I are doing something different on our own terms.